But so many changes. And here we sit, and you grab my hand and you said, come up to my office with me. You got to see this. Tell the world, if you can, what you can about what moves the needle for your enthusiasm right now. What gave you mind over mattress this morning to get up and do that workout, do the reading, do all the stuff, and say, Dan, I want to be on your show because we got stuff to talk about. We're going places.
Well, man, where do you start? It starts with amazing people. I got to make sure that starts. It starts with a vision. Joe Chang is, quite honestly, one of the greatest innovators I've ever met in my entire life. And he just has one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen. And he said to me in a meeting one day, he said, Steve, he goes, for us to fulfill our mission at Nu Skin, our real mission here to help people look, feel, and live better and help people help other people do the same. He says, there's no single greater tool to do that than the scanner.
Wow.
As it's currently constructed for that to the world. And, I sat down with Ryan, as you've heard from Ryan a couple of times, our CEO, and he said something similar. He says, Steve, it's kind of like a lot of things in life. It's great. It's a great technology. It's wonderful. It's helped so many people. I see Peggy on here. We were talking to Paige, and we were talking to so many wonderful people, Steve, Scott, yourself, Nathan Ricks, all these amazing people who have figured out and overcome with these massive devices through leases and through complicated stories and with challenges with software and hardware and so forth. And they've continued to press on. It's just amazing. And so everyone said the same thing. Joe was scratching his head. Ryan and I looked at it. We said, what is the way we can help people access this product and be able to truly take it to the world? 8 billion people do need it. And 8 billion people do need to know whether or not their nutrition is helping them or not. And there's nobody out there who's really turned up with a great plan to do it, except for Nu Skin, who started this journey several years ago. And actually 23 to be exact on that journey with Scanner. And Now we have 23 years of research. We have 26 million scans globally in 51 countries plus. We have, this database that we've built, quite honestly, sometimes you're good and sometimes you're lucky. I think a little bit of both played in there. We had no idea that what machine learning and AI would become as it is today. And to be able now to take this data, the small data set to a big data set, and now be able to take that data and utilize it to be able to create something that now every single person can have, and every single person can see the difference demonstrated around the world. And we can do it for an affordable price that is reasonable, and then get access to the real power, which is the supplements and the personal care products that really make a difference. That is a big deal. And so that's what we've been focused on. And we've been through a lot. You talk about the challenges in life, and this is one of the single biggest hurdles. All of us scratching our heads, we really didn't know if we could pull this off. And had ML and AI not come to fruition like it is right now, we would never have been able to get there.
Machine
but
learning.
Because of that, machine learning.
Yeah,
and artificial intelligence. Yeah. And that was the breakthrough. And it was just, I got to tell you, it's the funnest experiment in my entire life to watch, as I watch my engineering team, my product team, my R&D team, and Joe Chang, and we're all kind of wrestling with this formula and trying to figure it out. And then there was this moment where we had this gentleman from BYU University, Brigham Young University, and he was our top engineer. He was heavily involved in the scanner. And he looks over and he says, "No, wait a second. We have this database. What if we could take all the data that's here, populate the algorithm?"
Come on, internet.
Spectral ray, this new process by which we actually scan, which is
say it one more time.
Being patented and is.
Say that technology one more time. You broke up.
Spectral ray. It's new.
Spectral ray. Cool. Love it.
That's a spectral ray.
I don't know if the internet's bad in the building or if it's bad on your end, but we're just a little choppy. That's why I jumped in there. I apologize.
Oh, sorry, Dan. Sorry.
No
Yeah, I look good here. I got lots of bars. But anyways, the reality is that and by the way, I've been in that building a couple of times, and it hasn't been really good. So but it's the combination of this patented spectral ray that we've discovered, and it's the way we fire lights and certain lights at certain times and certain sequences to be able to get what we're talking about. And that tied through this algorithm to our database. Had we not had this database, so thank you all of you who have done the scanner. You are part of this experiment, part of this growth, part of this amazing process of science getting better. And it has changed everything. It has changed everything. So we connected that through this algorithm, and then we started to do the work to validate it. And after we did 1 million different independent scans, we saw what's called relative standard deviation of less than 0.1%. And so now what that basically means is that we've got it. We finally have the answer that we've been looking for, that no one else has, that no one else could have, because they don't have our database and they don't have our spectral ray that's now being patented, and they don't have the algorithm. So now you have what Nathan Ricks always talked about, a tremendous opportunity, because nobody knows more about antioxidants now than ever before. And now it's becoming ubiquitous around the world. People understand what we're talking about. They understand now the amazing benefits of a company that has been around for 40 years. So is it the right company? Yeah, because we've been doing it longer than anyone else. And we've been doing it in a way that we've been focused on since Joe Chang started. And this ability to think about anti-aging in a wholly different way. And antioxidants don't just help with kind of wellness generally. We're talking about every single function of your body, from weight management all the way through to brain function, all the way to prostate, all the way to hormones. I mean, the whole thing all hinges on cellular function, and cellular function's hindered if free radicals are destroying it. And so how do you offset free radicals? It's antioxidants. And so yes, we got the right company, because we've been doing this for a long time, and we have the most research I've ever seen. We've actually seen over, I think it was something like 6,000 studies per year for the last 22 years that have come out about some form of the impact of antioxidants and the benefits that are associated with it. So now you're in a place where we're in the right place. We have the right research, and we have technology that you cannot get anywhere else. It's unique to Nu Skin. It's patented. And we're just so thrilled. I mean, and now you have a consumable-based business that you can actually do something with it. So, for instance, Samsung just came out with a thing in Unpacked about a week ago, and it was called the Antioxidant Index. And it's really interesting, kind of comes off of they've got a different way of measuring and so forth. Long story short, I think it's awesome. I think it was people say, oh, what are we going to do? And I said, does Samsung sell supplements? Do they sell supplements that make a difference? No. Do they educate? Absolutely. And you're going to see more and more. So there's free education for the world on what antioxidants are. So when you walk into somebody's home, said, yeah, you probably saw that on your watch or you saw that on your phone, but you don't know how to get a better score. And let me show you how you do that. And that really is going to change everything.
So, Steve, we're about halfway through the show here this morning. I want to welcome everybody that came in. If you came in after we got started, you want to hit hashtag replay, you want to like the show, you want to share the show, you want to share this to your messenger, you want to share it to your team page, you want to get the message out there. And I would like to just say that when I first started this journey, I went on the coattails of Nathan's vision. I mean, Nathan had a vision, and we really thought big. And this is the time when the innovator's dilemma matches with the blue ocean strategy, matches with the technology availability and the duplicatability for the masses. The original technology really wasn't for the masses. It was highly difficult to get that duplicable score from the lab with Werner Gellerman and all the team up there at the U of U, and then all of a sudden be shipping on airplanes and traveling the world in different climatic zones and different everything when it came to turning on that machine. So here we sit today. We're halfway through this show. We're on the first day of February 2025. And I want to just say that, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but I think that when I show this picture right here, this is yesterday, me and Scott Ferguson on your team there. There's only 5 on the team, if I recall. And there's him holding up the hockey puck. And I don't know if you like calling it that, but to me, I went to the store and just bought a hockey puck, and I just wanted to hold the hockey puck. I just wanted to feel the hockey puck. I wanted to have a demonstrable thing. I mean, I walk in and the guy says, "Why do you want to buy a hockey puck?" And so I had to start pitching the guy at Big Five Sporting Goods. But there's Scott. And I remember so many meetings. We traveled the world. He's been on this show. And here we sit today with this notion. And most people know that I am a huge fan of incredible entrepreneurs, one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, Elon Musk. And so I waited 4.5 years to have my Cybertruck delivered. And I had no idea what it was like to be involved with the Tesla culture. And I want to draw an analogy here to this technology that you have coming. And that is when Elon's team tells me they have enough firmware information, AI information, machine learning information, something shows up on my screen and it says you're ready for a software update. Not drive to the store to get my oil changed, to get the all the things changed. It's a firmware update. So let's talk about, because carotenoids and the technology we had back in the day, it was a one measurement tool. Now we have something that you'll have a firmware update. If I'm right, tell me if I'm wrong, a firmware update that takes us from color spectrum to color spectrum, if I recall you touching on during the town hall just a week and a half ago.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, first of all, it is, and Ryan, I've talked about this before, just as is, through antioxidants and carotenoids, we believe it's a $10 billion business.
Yeah.
Period.
Huge.
Stop. Full stop. So sometimes people get excited about, oh, can we measure this and this and this and this? I say, hey, let's just capture that $10 billion that's associated with carotenoids and get that first. And we can do that very, very quickly. I mean, most of the people that are on this call understand that principle of simplicity and focusing in on something like that. And the benefits are massive. Joe still says today that that's the single greatest way to indicate health is your carotenoid score. So we got to make sure that's full stop right there.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, as you said, the innovator's dilemma is, but we can do so much more. Yeah. And so think about, let me give you some what ifs. Okay. What if you could, now that it's portable, now take away your brain from putting your hand on something to putting it in the palm of your hand. And now you have access to putting it in different places on your body. Okay. So not everything happens just right here on the hand, even though it's one of the more extremities. And so people can say, hey, it's actually the carotenoids can actually get out to your hand. So you can see that it's getting absorbed, which is a big deal. Number one, people don't understand how important that is. That single thing of being able to be absorbed into the body. So it's not what you eat, it's not what you consume, it's what you actually get into your body. So it's getting to your arms and out to your extremities. And so you can see that. Now think about other things such as collagen. Think about vitamins, minerals, micronutrients. We are working closely with our scientific advisory board members and so forth. And we're now working with 13 countries globally who are already ready to move forward with us. Because why? Because we have all this research. And in fact, many of them were involved in the original scanner. And they're saying, you guys walk in the door with credibility immediately. These are universities and academics who aren't really big fans all the time of just business. Generally speaking, they have to have that kind of academic look and feel. And these guys are going, holy cow, you have changed everything for the better. You're taking this great research, 111 studies just validating carotenoids and the benefit of antioxidants related back to scanner. Okay. Independent, 111. Now you're saying all these other thousands and thousands of studies that have happened over the last 23 odd years. And you're taking all of that, you're pushing it through MLAI, you're getting a more robust number. And now you can express health indicators like all these other things we're talking about. And they are just blown away. So what's amazing about this is people really are just scratching the surface when you start talking about skin health, when you start talking about the inside your body. And one thing I wanted to say, Dan, that's really important is that, similar to these bugs that actually get into trees and you don't see on the outside, the tree looks massive and great and beautiful and it's awesome. And then it suddenly starts to die from within. It's because these little microscopic bugs get in there and they start chewing away at it. And over time, it just kills the tree. Well, these free radicals are wreaking havoc and damage on our bodies on a daily basis, right? So you got to think that whether you believe it or not, right now we're getting pounded. We are getting pounded, and it's your choice of whether or not you're going to put on, a defense mechanism that's going to help you and control. You can only control so many things in your life. We want to say we can control everything, right? How you get up in the morning, how soon you look at your phone, as you talked about before in another podcast. When do you look at that phone? How do you talk about your self-affirmations? Those are things you can control. Things you can't control. I can't control the weather. It is what it is, right? If the sun's beating down on me, I can't control the sun, but I can control what I put on my body to block the sun. I can also control what I eat. In many cases, I can also control the supplements I take. So those are the things you can control. You can't control always the stress that's in your life, because people are people. And even though you might be in a calm place, but the people around you might not be. And so you have things that are outside of your control. And the reality is we're getting hammered and the damage is happening just like that tree is getting hammered, and it looks great on the outside in many cases. And then unfortunately, bad things happen. And fortunately, we've got an amazing medical community that can help us recover. Our bodies are unbelievably resilient, but they're looking for a little help because, we're here in Utah. You're here now, Dan. I mean, the inversion, we can't even see the sun. And in many cases during this time of year. And so people say, oh, that's great. It's black. No, we're talking about smog and all sorts of, pollution that we're ingesting every single day. And I went to Indonesia about, a year ago, and I never saw the sun. I was there for about a week and I never saw the sun ever. And I asked somebody in Indonesia, I said, so when does this break? And they said, oh, it never breaks. And I'm like, you're in perpetual smog? And they said, yeah, we never see the sun. Like we just don't see it. And so that is free radicals pelting us that we don't have any control over, but what we can control is what we put into our bodies. And so, yes, to answer your question, I want to make sure it's clear. Stay focused on the carotenoids, because that story by itself is a $10 billion business, and it's going to make more difference than any other single thing. But we have a big opportunity ahead of us where we're going to be able, as you said, to do over-the-air firmware updates to the device as we get research from the universities we're working with on skin health, on mental health, on microbiome, on our abilities to be able for, recovery for our muscles and our muscle tissues and muscle synthesis. We're going to be able to understand nutrients and more than we've ever known them before. And we're going to be able to do things that has never, ever been seen. And by the way, last thing I'll say on this is the patent we just recently filed is on analytes. And anybody who's in science understands what analytes means. So it means that it's the analyte of an ingredient or something. So for instance, an analyte would be, we're measuring carotenoids out of beta carotene or out of, lutein or zeaxanthin. That is, so we measure the analyte that you're measuring is actually a carotenoid. And you can actually, for instance, Meta has anthocyanins. That's the analyte we're measuring. We're trying to figure out how many anthocyanins are in there. So wait a second. If you're now being able to measure not just carotenoids, but analytes, you've now just opened a whole host of things all over the world.
Amazing. Our time is going to be up in just a minute. I would love to have another 30 minutes and talk more. Our people love this because the future is so bright. And like you said, the carotenoid measurement is, in fact, where it all starts. Nobody can do that to this day. We have my son-in-law in the building with me right now, and he got 38 new customers last month with a scanner in his foot and ankle surgery practice, right? And this morning, he's talking about all the ideas he has, how big he can build it. And I know that we could talk for a long, long time about this, and we are going to change lives. And we're not waiting until this new scanner comes out, guys. You can take LifePak today, and it starts to change your life today. It doesn't need to be measured for it to be obviously validated. It's going to get there, and the opportunity just gets bigger as we have that device in our hands. And the future is so bright that we all got to wear shades, as the great ZZ Top would tell us. So everybody have a great day. Steve, thank you so much for your time.